and we're going to talk about why Black Americans need to, when they start, don't go nowhere else. You need to come to Kenya first. Let me tell y'all something. As a Black American, I'm going to have to say you feel the most welcome in Kenya over all the other countries. And
Hi guys, so it looks like Auston Holleman is trying to pit Kenyans against Africans, against other Africans. But it's not really other Africans, it's mostly three African countries, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. It started with the live titled was Accra, Ghana oversold to Black Americans. In that live, he said that Ghana was not was oversold. Ghana was not the promised land, and then he brought Kenya in and tried to pit Kenya against Ghana. But I mean, in that live, he didn't really, do too much of pitting Kenya against Ghana. But then in the next live he did, titled Nairobi versus Accra. It was, he was trying to create division between Kenya and Ghana. He does this comparison, right? He has a lot of videos of him comparing either two cities or two countries. But to be fair to him, he's usually fair, and one country would always come on top. But he usually is like one country, maybe he might have 10 categories that he compares the two countries or the two cities on, and one country would win in 6, the other would win in 4, or stuff like that, right? But in this one, Kenya came on top on every parameter, on every matrix, and it was very obvious that he was trying to pit Kenya against Ghana. Then he had this live 2 days ago called Black Americans Should Start in Kenya. And once again, he was pitting Kenya against other African countries, but mostly those 3 countries I mentioned, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. And the sad thing is that Kenyans seem to fall for it because they are on the comment section attacking other Africans, other African countries. Like this girl, Bev M. Wallow 1712. She's saying Kenya is always number 1 because the people are welcoming. Even Brittany Caldwell, she's an American who now lives in Nigeria, I think. Even Brittany Caldwell said the same. She's in Nigeria now, and she says it's not the same. Here, Bev is attacking Nigerians, right? Saying that Kenya is better than Nigeria. And we have Kelvy saying that we love you, man. Thanks for the honest and objective review of our country, Kenya. Now, where are the Ghanaian crybabies? And this one, Abdul, saying, welcome back home, bro. I was so worried when you went to Senegal. Whatever.
And then now you have this guy, or this person, ESM 135, saying, I know that will please South Africans. He's honest, so he will spill the beans himself out of his own experience. And you could see that started a whole thread where South Africans and Kenyans were going back and forth with at each other. So yeah.
Anyway, so you have Kenyans here, attacking other Africans in service of because of Auston Holleman. These Kenyans are allowing themselves to be used to attack other African countries. And it's sad, I don't know why Kenyans are falling for it. You would think they could see through him and realize that this guy is trying to create some kind of division between Kenyans and other Africans, but Kenyans do not seem to see it. And let me tell you guys why I think this Auston is pitting Kenyans against other Africans. I think it's for two reasons. The first one is the inferiority complex. Remember, I made this video saying that Ghanaian men made Auston feel inferior, and that was because there were so many Ghanaian men who had more money than he does. He does, and I'm not the one saying this. He himself said that there were Ghanaian men with money who could take your girl away from you. If not your girl, the girl you are talking to, they could take her away from you. They could make her stop talking to you.
Because if you guys seen the first vlog, there's a good amount of men out here that have nice things that can snatch attention away from you. There's a good amount of men out here that can make women stop texting you back when she sees this other guy.
So he feels intimidated by Ghana, right? And he knows that there are even more guys in Nigeria who probably have even more money than he does, and same thing with South Africa, right? So he feels intimidated by men in these three African countries: Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. So he is trying to because he feels so insecure, and we know that when something or someone makes him insecure, he attacks that person or that thing, right? So right now he is trying to use he's attacking those three other countries, or at least the men in those. He wants to attack those three countries, right? Or the men in those three countries. And we also know that Auston is a coward, and he doesn't. When he wants to attack a person, he doesn't go directly and attack them, right? We saw that with Kesa. Instead of him himself, spreading that ugly rumor that she has a sex tape with other American men, he used mercenaries like Powell to spread that rumor, right? So we already know that when you want to attack someone, instead of attacking them himself, he will use other people to do it for him. And that's what we are seeing here, right? He is using Kenyans to attack, the three other countries, the three countries, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa, because, like I said, he feels intimidated by the men in those countries. And, he told this anecdote, and that for me, it is such a great example of who Auston is, right? Because the anecdote was supposed to show why cold approaching is a bad thing, how cold approaching doesn't work. That is what it's supposed to show, right? But because this guy probably he still has such an inferior complex against when he compares himself against Nigerian men, he's probably obsessed with attacking those men. He probably wants to take any opportunity he can get to attack those men. So instead of the anecdote being about how bad how cold approaching doesn't work, it ended up him trying to imply that Nigerian men are looked down upon by beautiful Kenyan women. Listen to him talking about it.
Cold approaching for the most part is a waste of time. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I cold approached somebody today, and I was like, she look good, and I was like, nah, she ain't sending no choosing signals. I said, fuck it, you know what, I tried. So I spoke to her, and she kept walking. And I was like, see, the choosing signals never fail. She kept walking. But then she turned around. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know why. You know what the first thing was that she asked me? Are you Nigerian? So if I was Nigerian, she was gonna keep walking. And she told me that.
Now, what I'm trying to point here is that he started, telling a story about how cold approach doesn't work, but he ended up, making that story about how Nigerian men are not desired. And it's not that's not the only anecdote he told to make it look like, Nigerian men were not desired. He told this other anecdote.
There was even a time here I was in this place called Milan, which is a really nice club here in Kenya, and there was these two girls, and one of them was staring at me. So I smiled and I spoke to her, and she said, "Fuck you." I was like, "What the hell?" That was the first time I've heard somebody say something like that since I left the United States. Now in Dallas, that's common for a woman to say "fuck you" for absolutely no reason. But I'm starting to think now because I've had a few people tell me I look Nigerian. I'm starting to think maybe that chick thought I was Nigerian and she just automatically led with the "oh, he looks Nigerian, fuck you." Because I don't know why else she would be saying that to me. I don't even know who the hell she is. So I've out of all the countries I've traveled to, people are saying Nigerians have a bad reputation. That is true. Oh yeah, Nigerians they have a bad rep. Number one, because of that scammer reputation they have, and because they're very aggressive, right? And they're aggressive with women too. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes. Like,
With this one, it is, he is creating a complete narrative from out of thin air, right? Because the girl she could have rejected him for like thousand other reasons. But he wanted to make it look like, she's rejecting him because she thought he was Nigerian, because that narrative helps him, right? That narrative helps him put the Nigerians in a negative light. And he talked about, them being aggressive and being scammers, and he's bringing that up because he wants to create this new narrative. And let's be clear, the stereotype of Nigerians, the narrative about Nigerian men in Kenya is that they get all the girls because there is this perception that Nigerian men like to spoil their women. There was even a Kinganda episode where East African women themselves say that they prefer Nigerian men from any other men, from the Kenyan men, from East African men, from even from American men, from white men or any other men. They prefer the Nigerians because Nigerians love to spend on their women. So this narrative that Auston is telling is coming from that inferiority complex. I think he now thinks that if he tells this this ridiculous story of him being rejected, and I call it ridiculous because the girl didn't tell him. At least the first girl told him that she rejected him because she thought he was Nigerian, but this girl didn't even tell him. He didn't even think she rejected at that time. He didn't think she rejected him because she thought he was Nigerian. This new story is coming like months after the event. So because this new narrative benefits him, right? Because he's trying to create this new narrative that Nigerian men are not desired by Kenyan women, because there is a lot of inferiority complex going on about Ghanaian men, Nigerian men, and probably South African men. So he is trying to create this new narrative that Nigerian men are not desired by Kenyan women, and that Nigerian men are not desired because they're aggressive, because they're scammers, which is not what is the prevailing narrative in East Africa. So, I mean, inferiority complex makes you do a lot of stuff, and this guy is trying to paint Nigerian men as undesirable when the reality is the opposite.
And the second reason that I think he is trying to pit Kenyans against other Africans is because he thinks that would create controversy. And if there is controversy, he would get more views, because right now his views have tanked. They have flopped. He gets very, he is not getting the same number of viewers that he used to get, because what happened is African girls are refusing to go on his channel because they saw how he treated Kesa after she left him. And they also thought that him going on live and saying that 80% of the African girls he's been dating are below his standard. So African girls don't want to be on his channel, because they know that if they decide to leave him, he is not just going to go after them, he's going to go after their parents. And you'd think, someone would have the decency not to go after, your parents. So African girls don't want to be on his channel. Even the club girls don't want to be on his channel right now. So what he's trying to do is to maintain his viewership number, or to bring them up to the levels they were before. He's trying to create controversy, I think, and that's why I think he is going after. He's trying to create controversy by creating division between Kenyans and other Africans, and and Kenyans are falling for it. And I don't really understand why Kenyans are defending this guy, when you know that once you are of no use for him, he would start attacking. We have seen that. We have seen him doing that with the girls, right? Once the girls stop being of use to him, he turns around. He turns on them, right? He starts attacking them. Not just them. He starts attacking their moms. He's starting attacking their family. So why would you want to defend this guy? I don't even understand it. There is, whatever he is doing today to other countries, to the girls that he has stopped dating, he will do it to you the moment he leaves your country. So I don't even know why you guys are defending him. Anyways, thank you. Bye bye.